I had a conversation with a European friend of mine, I think 2 weeks ago, talking about what's going on in America. And I told him, have you noticed that only one group of people are responding, reacting? I said it's white folks that are reacting to to what's going on in America. And I said it's because black Americans are used to this nonsense. Guys, go read this book. It's called Black Fortunes by Shomari Wills. Okay? Almost every single page in this book is how white people put systems in place to make sure black Americans don't move any step further. This has been done to them for centuries. In 2025, the fact that black Americans are still alive and breathing is a fucking miracle, in my opinion. But despite all the systemic hurdles that have been placed in the presence of black Americans, they still created their own spaces. They still created their own churches, their own cities, their own industries. Don't let these people tell you that, oh, African Americans are just this. No, look at the history. Inventions. A lot of things has happened, but you want to know what happened? It's been stolen by white folks. It's been taken by white folks. The land has been taken. Their policies have been taken. Their businesses have been burned down. Their Wall Street has been taken. So when you see what's going on now, black Americans in 2025 are numb. N-U-M-B. They are numb. They are numb to injustice. They are numb to this kind of things because it's not new. So that's why when you see people reacting to what's going on in America, it tends to be white people. Like, oh my God, this is so, I cannot believe Trump is taking away Department of Education. Black people ain't saying shit. Oh, I cannot believe he's deporting immigrants. Black people ain't saying shit. Because when black people are trying to tell people this guy is going to do this to you, guess what other people of color did? They ignored black folks because they wanted proximity to whiteness. Now that shit has hit the fan, guess who they are calling? Black folks, black Americans. Black Americans are now keeping silent, rightfully so, by the way, to what's going on in America because they've realized that other people of color, in quotes, the Indians, the Mexicans, especially the Mexicans, most of what you guys have in America, even Africans, by the way, is because of the black Americans that have fought for everybody to have access to it. Okay? So, even the so-called Arabs, the Latinos, the Indians, the Asians who are always silent, playing whoever is winning, they are now realizing that without black bodies and black voices, nobody actually fights. Even white people don't stand up and fight for themselves. I mean, I literally saw a video of a white woman at the Republican Congress being assaulted by security. They were pulling her, dragging her on the floor like she's a bag being dragged on the floor. Not one single white person, full of white people, stood up to help her out. So when black people are not there to scream and shout and fight for everybody, nobody fights for themselves. Nobody fights for us, or black Americans either. And this segregation topic that's being done now, people don't realize that black people are used to this shit. Mexicans are not even used to this shit. Asians are not used to this. Whites are not used to this. So that's why everybody's losing their mind. Blacks are used to this shit. Do you know that even for the past 3 days, I've only been seeing white people talking about let us not do segregation. Black people are happy. They want segregation.
What happens when the water runs out? What happens when the food runs out? What happens when that shortage is just supposed to be a temporary shortage ends up being a long-term shortage? What happens when that dollar no longer holds its value? BRICS. You should be looking up BRICS. If you don't understand what BRICS is, BRICS. You should be researching that. You should be understanding what that is. What happens when the world no longer cooperates with the United States tyrannical rule? What happens when the ship that you're depending on sinks? What happens when this country collapses? Will you go down with the ship? The problem with a lot of pro-black talk is we don't seem to comprehend the long-term effect. We don't seem to comprehend or think of what's to come in the future. I understand the war talk. I understand the self-defense talk, but where we miss a lot of times is we are encased, engulfed, surrounded by a failing nation, a nation that owes everybody in the world money, a nation that owes everybody in the world something, a nation that is in everybody's business, a nation that is meddling and manipulating everybody's business around the world. And there's a breaking point to this. There's a point, whether if it's China, Russia, Africa, whoever, the many laundry list of enemies this country has, there is a breaking point where everyone will say no more. You can look to Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. You can look at Putin. You can look at China. You can look everywhere in the world. If you are not completely sold, if you are not completely brainwashed and conditioned by American propaganda, and see what the play is. It isn't even so much so warfare physically. It's cyber. It's agricultural, it's mental, emotional, social media warfare. It's all of this. See, everyone knows that the American military is not nothing to play with. So a lot of the other countries and continents are treading on a line while trying to figure out how to combat this enemy. African Americans, Mexican Americans, Native Americans, we're the only ones on enemy soil that have the potential to do the most damage because we're here domestically. So I'm gonna ask again, will you go down with the ship? Because this ship will sink. This ship is sinking. It don't take much research for you to learn that. I want Black people, Native Americans, Hispanic Americans to stop with this bullshit. There is no real issue here between Black, Native American, Hispanic, okay? There's no real issue. Here's what happens. Black people have a bad experience with Hispanics. Black people have a bad experience with Native Americans. Native Americans have a bad experience with Black people. Hispanic people have a bad experience with Native Americans and Black people. And then we all just close our doors to each other for good. We have a common enemy. We have common history. There is no reason to shut your doors to each other. Everybody experiences a bad apple in the bunch. But one bad apple in that bunch can spoil the entire bunch. So we have to understand that these self-hatred monsters, these individuals that have been consumed by their own trauma, consumed by their own experiences, and that has been the conditioning method that they've created entire narratives and ideology around. We can't have that. Those individuals are too dangerous for this community because they become harmful and self-destructive to the narrative that we're trying to push forward. If you hope to push forward unity, whether if it's in the Black community, Hispanic community, Native American community, you cannot have any self-destructive people in it. You can't have none of the whitewashness, whether if it's Black, Native American, or Hispanic. You can't have no sellouts. You can't have none of them halfway pro-Black, halfway whitewashed people. You can't have none of it. You have to be very, very meticulous and careful in how you let people in the gate. That is the only place where gatekeeping is good. We have to start gatekeeping this community. You know who contributes? You know who benefits from us being a mess? From us sitting up here trying to tear each other apart every 5 seconds over everything and anything? One group of people. You know who benefits, right? So if you know who benefits, you should be going against it at all costs. At all costs. If I have a problem with Black women, that's my issue with Black women. I will not sit up here and disparage and disrespect them on social media waves or period, for the simple fact that I know who's watching this and I know what validation that they're trying to seek out. You got individuals that follow me right now, not just white, Black, Native American, Hispanic, whitewashed, sellout individuals that are just waiting in the shadows, that are just watching just to be nosy, that are just watching just to keep tabs on me. They operate on keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. I also understand that lifestyle. I understand the rule. So they can't get out of our business. They can't leave us alone because their very existence as a sellout is dependent upon keeping us underneath a white thumb. And lastly, if you've gotten this far, nothing I ever do for this community will be advertised on the internet. That goes for that video I posted, that video, nothing I do will be shown, no action I take will be shown on the internet. If you have to question that and you don't understand why, you're part of the problem and you need to get the hell off my page.
Black Americans are being tricked into believing that your skin color comes before your citizenship when it comes to the geopolitical times that we are in right now. That makes absolutely no sense. Y'all are standing with people who fly the flags of the countries that they fled. They're flying the flags of the countries that their ancestors could not protect, that their ancestors could not defend, that their ancestors and they did not stay in order to build up. Okay? They've come to your country because America is your country, and they're flying flags from a country that is not your country, and you would choose to stand with them, with these people who don't even have loyalty to their own land, because if they did, they would be there fighting to improve the circumstances in their countries. They're not doing that. They got destructive spirits on them. They destroyed there. They want to come here and destroy as well. I'm not saying this is all immigrants, okay? I'm talking about the people who are choosing to immigrate to a country and then wave the flags of the country that they fled, that they have abandoned, while disrespecting the leadership of this country. And this is who Black Americans choose to align yourselves with, because you have idolized your skin color. You put your skin color over your country of origin. You put your skin color over your country of citizenship. That makes absolutely no sense. You put your skin color over patriotism. You are offended by people who value and defend and protect America. You are choosing to be an orphan in this world. Y'all are inviting the orphan spirit into your existence. And you're not an orphan. You have a home. It's the United States of America. You have a birth certificate. You could get a blue passport. All it takes is a couple $100. You could get a blue passport. You have every single right that any other American citizen has. And you choose to continue to other yourselves. You're choosing to perform victimhood. You're choosing to perform oppression and marginalization. And it makes absolutely no sense at this point when you've had a Black president, you've had a Black vice president, you have so many Black millionaires and billionaires, you got all Black films. I watched Black Panther in Thailand in a movie theater. You got how many all Black Super Bowl performances do you need? You got a whole Black month dedicated to you. You got Black channels on the TV. What the hell else do you need to understand that you are neither marginalized nor oppressed? You are an American citizen and you can do anything that any other American citizen can do. This is coming from somebody who lived in Germany, lived in Thailand, lived in multiple states in the United States of America, obtained multiple degrees, studied on multiple campuses, have held multiple positions in multiple places of employment, have owned multiple homes. All you gotta do is decide that you are a privileged American and be that and walk in that. You are a citizen of the greatest country in the world. If you've decided it's not the greatest country in the world, it's because you are not contributing to it being great. You don't understand greatness. You don't value greatness. You're too bitter. Heal. That's all I can tell.
African American community is the only community that has the power in this country to change anything. They are the only one with the experience of civil matter. They are the only one que tenían el esclavo ahí mismitico. They are the only one that are not gonna get deported anywhere, and you cannot put them all in jail. So African American community, which is the community that is stepped on by Cubans, the most are the only ones that are going to save the Latinos. And I clap for the African American community that has not come out because it is not. I do. We didn't do shit for them.
I get it, but I don't.
Me and you support, but in masses, we didn't support anything that was going with them. Latinos look at Cubans specifically. I'm not gonna talk about any other community because I'm not part of that community, even though I'm a Latina with them. Cubans talk shit about African Americans. Cubans did not support African Americans. Cubans think that they all victimize themselves. Of this, all of that. African Americans are the only ones that are going to save your ass as Latinos. So you better start kissing. If you're gonna kiss some ass in this country, you better kiss some black ass.
92% of the Black community have decided to stand down and to let them do all the work. We have showed them the game plan. We have told them what to do. We tried to lead them to the glories of fresh water, and they decided not to drink it. At this point, it is not our fault if you starve. It is not our fault if you are dehydrated. If you are thirsty, drink, because we showed you how to create a pond of water within your hands. Seeing the entire country quite literally and figuratively burn down to the ground, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of makes me a little anxious because I am missing something. I am missing something incredibly important. You know what that is? I am missing a Black woman who can drink hot green tea with me. That's what I'm missing. For those who don't know, I am absolutely obsessed with green and jasmine tea. It's one of my favorite drinks. No sugar, no GMOs, no added supplements, just the nature and the leaves itself. What's interesting is this. Every now and then, I will get tagged into videos from other people of color, and they will ask me and other Black people, why don't you help us? Why won't you help us? Why are you abandoning us? It's the same answer of what I said 3 months ago after the presidential election. You betrayed us. We trusted you and you stabbed us in the back. Here is a phrase that I continuously say to my friends because it is critically important. Trust and love is very important. However, trust is 10 times more valuable than love ever will be. I can still love you. I can still care about you. But I do not trust you enough to where you won't stab me in the back. Trust is the complete opposite. I can despise you and you can be my enemy, but I am no fool. If I can trust you enough to where you won't stab me in the back, then that trust will be placed. It's the same way with this. to the Latinos, to the Asians, to other people of color. I do care about them. I love y'all even. But I am no fool. I know I can't trust you because that election told me everything I needed to know. That election told me that a lot of you is not on the black community side. Love itself, my love for you, is not enough for me to have faith in you. If your trust was unbound and you continuously shown to me and everyone else that you are worth to be trusted, then we wouldn't be having this conversation now, would we? But because you have shown time and time and time again that you cannot be trusted, why are you acting surprised when we take our trust back? People need to understand that black people are not hateful. We care about you guys. We do love you guys, but we can't trust you for shit. So if the entire country has to burn down for you to realize that you have placed your trust into the wrong people, then so be it. That's all I gotta say on the matter. It is Onyx, and I'm gone.
Black people don't need saving. We don't need charity. What we need is power. We have been the backbone of this country, the soul of the culture, and the target of every system that fears what we're capable of. So let me say it clearly. Stop trying to control us. Start empowering us. Too often, people act like black communities need someone to swoop in and save us. That's the biggest lie ever told. We are not weak. We've been strategically blocked. Redlining, underfunded schools, media bias, police violence, economic exclusion. They didn't stop us because we were powerless. They tried to stop us because they know how powerful we really are. Watch these videos and I'll be back. Do not forget to subscribe while you're watching, okay?
America could have had nice things. Universal health care. Possible. Affordable college. Absolutely. A strong middle class. Should have been a given. But instead, this country chose racism over progress. And now everyone's paying for it. Because every time America had a chance to build something that benefited everybody, the thought of black people having access to it was apparently too much to handle. Instead of progress, we got a country that actively made life harder for itself, just to keep black people down. Universal health care. Not if black people get it too. Back in the 1940s, America had a chance to create a universal healthcare system. Other countries did it, but the US? Nah. Now, you may be asking yourself, why? Because universal healthcare meant that black people could go to the same hospitals as white people and potentially get treated like an actual human being. And they just couldn't have that. Southern politicians outright said that they wouldn't support it if it meant desegregation. Instead of universal healthcare, we got employer-based insurance. And that left millions of people uninsured, and we all know a hospital bill can bankrupt you. And now, even white people in states that fought so hard against universal health care, they're struggling just to afford insulin. Rural hospitals are shutting down because states are refusing federal funding. Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy. But hey, at least they didn't have to share a waiting room, right? Affordable college, though. Let's talk about that. Once upon a time, public colleges were affordable. California's public universities, they were basically free. Tuition in other states? So cheap, you could pay for it with a summer job. Can you imagine? And then the civil rights movement happened. More black students gained access to higher education. And instead of just letting people go to school, states started slashing education budgets. Public universities raised tuition. Federal aid shifted from grants to loans. And suddenly higher education became a debt trap. And now, Americans are over 1.7 trillion in student debt. An entire generation is financially crippled for simply getting an education. And even jobs that require degrees don't pay enough to cover the costs. America was so determined to keep black students out, they ended up locking everyone into lifelong debt instead. Now, home ownership. You know what builds generational wealth? Owning a home. After World War II, the government gave white families access to cheap home loans, setting them up for success. Black families locked out of those programs, thanks to redlining and racist lending processes. And when black people did buy homes, white flight drained resources from those neighborhoods. So if we fast forward to today, the housing market is a literal nightmare. Wages haven't kept up with home prices. Millennials and Gen Z can barely afford rent, let alone buy a property. America's fear of black home ownership helped create a market where now nobody can afford a house. Now let's talk about strong unions. Back in the day, unions were powerful. They fought for better wages, job security, and benefits. And black workers, they were leading some of the biggest labor movements. What did corporations and politicians do? They went to war with the unions. Reagan set the tone by firing striking air traffic controllers in 1981. Companies spent decades breaking unions, outsourcing jobs, and replacing full-time work with gig jobs. Right-to-work laws made organizing harder. And now most workers were left with stagnant wages and no protection. America didn't want to give black workers bargaining power, so they weakened unions across the board and made everyone suffer. This country could have had universal health care. It could have had free college. It could have had a strong working class and affordable housing. But every time America had the choice between progress and keeping black people out, it picked the latter. And now, instead of just screwing over black people, the entire system is broken. They deny black people health care. Now the whole country's drowning in medical debt. They locked black students out of college. Now everyone is shackled with student loans. They stopped black home ownership. Now the housing market is a disaster. They fought black-led unions. Now wages are stagnant for everyone. America wanted to keep black people down so badly, it dragged itself down with us. And the wildest part is that people are still out here pretending to be surprised.
Hey, cool kids, diaspora wars. Black Americans versus Black Brits versus Nigerians. I don't do any of that at all for many reasons. It's mainly and ironically because I have deep knowledge, you might even call it expertise, in why conversations to and about Black Americans happen the way that they do. And most people don't want to have that conversation. And I do not mean that in a clickbait, they not ready for this kind of way. Let me show you what I mean. I spent 15 years of my life studying Black American history, and that means, unfortunately, I have to study racism. Racism has a very evil tendency of being broadly specific. There is a very important field of study called critical race theory, and one of the tenets of that theory is that racism is normal. Not normalized, it is normal. There are many racist ideas, but these to me are the three that guide the conversations that are had to and about Black American people. One, it is that African American people are inherently, willfully uneducated and naturally intellectually inferior, that we are stupid on purpose and that we are stupid inherently. Two, that African American people do not feel pain of any kind. We do not have the capacity to feel. And three, the idea that African American people get beneficial special treatment because of chattel slavery. The key here is believing that chattel slavery is a non-special event. So we get beneficial special treatment because of a non-special thing that happened to us. Every conversation that I have ever seen to and about African American people, especially on the internet, has contained one or more of these racist ideas, and the worst one sit at the intersections of all three. And it's not just about a poorly worded conversation. Remember what I said? Racism has an evil tendency of being broadly specific because it is normal. This is why Donald Trump right now is picking cities with predominantly Black mayors and sending the military into those cities for no reason. When people say they don't get it, I believe them because most people don't. Racism is not just a tit for tat between white Americans and Black Americans. Anti-Black racism, specifically anti-Black American racism, is a social, philosophical, psychological, sometimes even physiological phenomenon that leads to some of not only the most barbaric violence that I have ever seen or studied, but also some of the most casual cruelty that I have ever seen or studied. Most people, when they talk about Black Americans, will freely admit that they know nothing about our history and culture, and in the same breath be so positively sure about all the conclusions they're coming to. Casual dehumanization is the only explanation for that, which is why I can't have the diaspora war conversations, because most people do not hear what they are saying, but I hear it and I know how serious it is, and that's terrifying. This is a little bit longer than my usual videos. I tried to cut it down as much as I could, but every word was important. Speaking of, there are very few instances where I will pull my academic rank, and this is one of them. We will not be going back and forth about whether or not this is true. Not understanding is fine, but thinking that you could debate the veracity, the validity of what I just said, in my field of study, that is the equivalent of someone who believes the earth is flat. Racism is normal, so anti-racism takes practice. So I would invite you to watch this video while practicing the anti-racist idea that a Black American person has produced something intellectual that you can learn from.
Last year, I got promoted. I got promoted to director. Supposed to be a good thing. Supposed to be a good thing. It's something that I had asked for. Something in the end that I demanded, quite frankly. Yes. Because I was doing the job. I said, I'm doing the job. I deserve the title and the pay. And so I got promoted. Yes. I spent a year dealing with white women, reminding them that they defer to me on my clients because I'm in charge of my clients. Yes. Dealing with white men because it is my client and I'm in charge of the strategy, and that I was hired to repair the damage done to the relationship because, to quote my previous director, if anybody could, I could repair the damaged relationship because I have a proven track record of doing so. Yeah. But regardless of my proven track record, regardless of my stellar reviews, I was ran over repeatedly by white directors, senior directors, and AVPs. Yes. I had to use my customer service voice so often that I got a headache. I had to talk with a smile on my face so that nobody knew that I was enraged as they continually attempted to usurp my authority. And I literally just got out of a meeting where the only person who knew the answer was me. And once again, I was repeatedly ignored and talked over. And we don't want to even talk about the fact that I've got a client who likes everything about me as long as it's coming from a white person. They hired me to fix a problem, yet do not support me in any way, shape, or fashion to fix the problem. And then they wonder why I'm so frustrated and angry. I'm confused by their confusion. So apparently this is a thing. Yeah. I mean, aside from the blatant misogynoir, right? Yeah, we've talked about that. The misogynoir, the hatred, prejudice, ingrained dislike of black women. Yeah, that is a thing. We've talked about that before. But hiring black women to fix a problem and then providing absolutely no support, that's a thing. It has a name, and it's called glass cliff. Yeah. I learned about that a few weeks ago. And I'm going to do additional research, see what else I can find out, and share my findings. Yeah.
If you can think of a people who were more held back, more deprived, more sabotaged than African Americans, you took everything away from them and took them away from everything. They started in your country at less than zero. Literally regarded and treated as subhuman, not allowed to learn to read or write or anything for hundreds of years. But you see, they come from a people of accomplishment to one degree or another, not a people of piracy and theft and appropriation. They come from a people who created and built and developed in their own land. And even though you did everything that you could possibly do to suppress them, to hold them down, to hold them back, and you're still doing that until today, nevertheless, I don't think anyone can dispute the fact that African Americans have become a global cultural superpower. Culturally, they're a superpower. Whatever cultural soft power that America has in the global South, it's African American.
I really love being a black American because we are so hated by everybody, but at the same time, like, y'all are obsessed with. And it's so funny because the obsession is real. Y'all are constantly telling us we aren't who the fuck we think we are. Whole time, all we do is mind our business. We mind our business and a little bit of each other's business, you know what I'm saying? We peep shit about y'all. We clock things. That was cool. That's tea, whatever. Like, we give credit where it's due. But when it comes to us, y'all can't give us credit for shit. Y'all still saying we don't have culture, bitch. Look around you. We are the motherfucking culture. But anyway, I just find it hilarious that the obsession is so real and y'all want us to believe that we're not exactly who the fuck y'all think we are. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be anything other than a black fucking American. With all the shit that we have gone through, we're still that. It just is what it is.
And a lot of the church movement did have to force the government's hand of like, all right, we need civil rights. So no, I don't trust the government, and I don't think the government is here to help black people.
Right. However, once Reconstruction ended and there were racist people that were brought in power to disfranchise black folks. There were many churches in the religious community that helped support in times when, black folks couldn't get good jobs, who could not get, a good education, even though there were historically black colleges and universities. I do tend to give the church its credit at times. And again, that doesn't mean, the black church gets to define the black community in its entirety and that it should define all of us that way. But we have to give credit historically where it's due.
The U.S. government has had a lot of policies to keep African Americans down for the past, ever since after slavery and even before. So we also had redlining, which kept black communities poor and away from certain jobs in the inner city, white flight, all these things, were perpetrated and supported by the U.S. government in every single major city in the United States. But the one place that where black people we can come and congregate was the church. It was kind of the de facto.
Are we actually in a place where the only way you can be black and stand with your people is to be a Democrat? Now, if that's where we are, we're the dumbest people on the face of the planet. And we're the only people in America who operate that way. You can be white and be a Republican or a Democrat. Hispanic and be a Republican or a Democrat. Praise the Lord. Whatever, and be a Republican or a Democrat. But if you're black, the only way you can be an authentic black person is to be a Democrat. That's stupid. And you know what it means? It means that explains why we spend half the time, or maybe even more, out of power. I've said for years, we need to operate politically, and I want to make this clear, in a way where both parties will compete for our vote. When one party knows that they're going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party. When another party knows that they're not going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party. So then you end up in no man's land. We are not married to the Democrat Party. People have a right to choose. And if you choose to be a Democrat, if you choose to be a Republican, if you choose to be independent, as I am, that doesn't make you more black nor less black. It means you're an American participating in the process. And God is on our side. Now, if we want to talk about whose side God is on, it's the Democrats who are pushing same-sex marriage. It's the Democrats who are pushing letting children get mutilated, little 8-year-old boys getting turned into girls. It's the Democrats who are 100% in their platform behind abortion and abortion rights up till the time of birth. If we start talking about whose side God is on, you got to dismiss most of the scripture to be a Democrat. Well, there are other things. What other things? What's more important than life? Trump ain't no good. Yeah, but he signed an executive order to protect Christians. He's no good, but the polls show that Christianity now has leveled off and is going back on the rise again since he's been in office. You just got to do your homework. Now you start talking about whose side God is on. No, the question is not whose side God is on. The question is the question Moses asked. Who's on the Lord's side?
So many people are unaware of the fact that during slavery, before the Civil War, that not all black people were slaves. And you see that depicted in so many comments and so much commentary when people talk about we are descendants of slaves. And it's like, no, we are not everybody. A significant amount of people were not slaves. They were free black folk. About 500,000, about 500,000. I think the number was like 480 something thousand. And it's true that there was a portion of that who were mixed, or as my grandmother would put it, our family was mulatto. People don't like that term today, but that is a term that they used at that time. They were free black folk who looked black, not black folks that could pass. Also, the vast majority of those people were encompassed in the South, despite what you're often told is that they would go to the North. Actually, the vast majority of those 500,000 were in the antebellum South.
Well, another one bites the dust. I don't know if y'all heard this, but I got some tea for you. So remember, we talked about how Google lost 1.4 billion users from Africa because they launched their own intranet. So now they won't have to rely on Google. Now remember, Google is composed of the shareholders and the people that basically all buy in to keep Google running the way it does, like it do how it did. In Africa, it's composed of a bunch of billionaires. Now, I did go into in-depth detail on what I found, and if you would like to get all the T's and the kikis, because it's very nefarious how it all went down, and this is why I love Africa and the way they're moving right now, especially the African Union, because they playing Chinese chess right now, okay? All puns intended. They playing Chinese chess, okay? And I'm here for it. So boom, sit down, get some popcorn, get ready for this. So turns out, a day after that happened with Google, tell me why they're saying 1.4 billion users all disconnected from Amazon website service. Web services, girl! Now, why is that important? One, they don't want to use the web service, and two, they're no longer going to be using Amazon platform either. Now, it would make sense if it was just a web service, because Africa is technologically booming right now. They booming so much that they said, let me take that money that we just made from them electric cars and all that other stuff, flip that bitch, put it back into the kids, because I believe the children of the future. Think about it. How many times has your kid been able to work your phone better than you? Exactly. So they basically gave all the equipment, bought the equipment for the kids and said, have at it. They over there talking about AI. I want you niggas to master that shit. I want you to be the masters of that shit. I'm gonna get you everything you need. Don't you worry about it, right? So the babies starting in Burkina Faso, moving all the way to Nigeria and Mali, are all working with the world's most updated equipment and basically mastering AI. At the exact same time, coincidentally, the two biggest corporations globally that just invested the most money and the heaviest and convinced people globally to invest into Grok and different types of AIs, Gemini, all that, because that's a Google version of the AI, they all of a sudden cut ties with them. So you see where I'm going with this. In addition to that, they've been investing in transportation services, including airfare. Burkina Faso just got their own international airport and locked in an entire route from Burkina Faso to Nigeria, and Nigeria now has a new route from Nigeria directly to Jamaica. So all we would have to do is go directly to Jamaica to get to Nigeria, to get to Burkina Faso. And they said that they have hopes to having a direct route from Burkina Faso to Jamaica. Do you see where I'm going with that? The majority of your packages that come from online don't all come from freight on the water. A lot of them come in the air. Do you see where I'm headed? Oh, baby, they about to be up. Niggas is about to be eating. As soon as they came together and put that 25 mil and flipped that bitch into $2 billion, oh, they said, put that money back in the company. Put it back in the house. Make sure you get them all that. Get them what they need. Get them all that. Mind you, girl, China is now putting AI in the hands of their youth. America is trying to find a way to put it in the hands of their youth, but in a way that they can control it. And several European countries are also following suit. Oh, baby, it's a race to the top. And I don't know if y'all know, but usually, y'all, you already know it. You already know it. So I'm rooting for everybody black. And they basically, you know how much money Amazon gonna lose because of that? Sorry, I got a mom while I give y'all the tea. You know how much money they gonna lose because of that? Chill. Now I can tell that Amazon is not going to be completely destroyed because of that, but they will be losing a lot of money because of that. Now, in the meantime, between Toe Up Squeeze time, Amazon is working alongside Google in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And they worked out a deal, that same deal that the United States worked out so that the violence would stop from Rwanda in Democratic Republic of Congo. But baby, as of recently, I haven't seen this even so much as slow down. So we'll see how all of that plays out. But I had to come and let y'all know that Africa ain't to be fucked with right now. They doing a hell of a job. They doing a bang up job. Starting with Burkina Faso, Chad, as well. Ooh, Chad is supposed to be coming a part of the Sahel states. Chad said, I know that ain't you, player, coming across the Himalayas. What's up, big money? What's up, big money? And decided to join in the Sahel states because they finna be eating. They finna be eating. And if you think I'm lying, Google how many times Donald Trump and the Republican Party has invited Captain Traore over to Donald Trump's house in the past 2 years. It's a lot. The United States has invited that man over a lot, and every time he say, I'm busy, like I got shit to do. Sorry. I'll let you know. And they said, well, when can we have a chit chat? And they said maybe in 400 years. In the FaceTime call. I know that hurt. I know y'all, I know America was salty as shit to hear that. The way my chin would have been scraped on the ground to have heard that and seen their reactions. They would have had to escort me out. And 400 plus years. First, the sundown. Y'all got until sundown to get up out of here. And now, 400 years. Do you? That's the African way, baby. That's how they throw real good shade that make you think hard.
I don't know how to put it into words, but I genuinely want to have a conversation about this. Okay, I genuinely, like, no disrespect, just a genuine conversation. With everything going on right now, especially in America, there's a lot of civil unrest. It's almost to the point where it's like a boiling point, where it's about to pop, where it's about to burst. Everyone is having civil unrest. It's like it's teetering onto something, but we don't know what it is yet, right? Everybody keeps saying, how could they do this? Why isn't anybody stopping anything? Like, what's going on? There was a black woman that said, and I quote, the reason why nobody is throwing the first stone is because they're waiting for black people to throw it first. That has altered my brain chemistry because, mind you, we know the laws are going to come down to us. So of course we're going to try to stand up for others. And I've noticed immediately, especially with the ICE raids, we've seen videos of people saying, well, why haven't black people stepped in? We did this, a transactional interaction. They tie it back to Black Lives Matter. Like, it's blowing my mind. I don't know how to explain it.
I know it's late, but listen, I've been crunching numbers today and I think you'll be interested. So stick around to the end. It'll be worth it. Over the past 5 years, the Democratic National Convention has raised over $3.6 billion. Now, I took it a step further. Other entities that say black people should be empowered and pushed, and I went to the Divine Nine, the fraternities and sororities for black people. Their combined net worth is over $202 million. I took it a step further for the people who preach the oppression Olympics on TV all day, every day, and tell black people how oppressed they are and how they need help and no one is helping them and everyone is against them. Right. So I looked at their net worth as well. Maxine Waters, $3.7 million. Jasmine Crockett, $9 million. Cory Booker, $3 million. Al Sharpton, $1 million. Jamal Bryant, the race hustling preacher, $1 million. Amanda Seals, Miss Reparations herself, $3 million. Hakeem Jeffries, Mr. Say It To My Face, $9 million. Joy Reid, $4 million. Whoopi Goldberg, $45 million. Don Lemon, $20 million. Kamala Harris, $5.8 million. Now combined, everyone is worth $3.9 billion. So, I said that to say this. Black people, the next time they come in your face telling you how oppressed you are and how you deserve reparations, they got it. So you tell them, don't talk about it. Bitch, be about it. You got it, player. anyway, I just found that interesting. I figured you might find it interesting too. So I'll talk to you guys later. Love y'all. Bye.
Welcome back. I honestly give credit to those people in those videos, right? Let's continue. Now, let's be real. Society don't want to empower Black people. It wants to manage us, keep us dancing, keep us buying, keep us voting, but never leading. Empowerment is not giving us crumbs. It's giving us ownership. Real estates, banks, media, tech spaces, where we call the shots, not where we are told to be grateful. We don't want sympathy. We don't want saviors. We want control over our lives, our image, our destiny. Stop trying to save us. Start funding us. Start backing us. Start pushing us. Because when Black people rise, we don't just uplift ourselves. We shake the entire world. You can see it with the culture in America right now. You can see it with our music. You can see it with the way we talk. You can see it with our fashion sense. You all should start funding us. Black Americans need funding. We don't need charity, right? That is what they need at this point. And that is it. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do not forget it's Global Gist with Beejay. My name is Blessing, your sister, your friend, all the way from Africa. Thank you so much for constantly supporting my channel and loving me. I understand a lot of you love me so much. And of course, I love you right back, right? But keep sharing my videos, subscribe. Like, even if you don't like my video, please make sure you watch them till the end. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.